welcome to Almaty Toastmasters Club. We're glad to have you join us. There's Toastmasters clubs that meet around the world in 122 plus countries and over 12,000 different chapters. A lot of them meet in local languages and a lot of them meet in English. So a lot of people are here to practice their English, but everyone's here to improve their public speaking skills and as well as their leadership skills. My name is Tom Barkowski. I'm the president of the Almaty Toastmasters Club. And so we're going to have everyone go around and introduce themselves. And if it's your first time here, how you heard about Toastmasters. If you've been here before, just briefly one thing that you appreciate about Toastmasters. And as we do this, we'll also give a little bit of time for those that are stuck in traffic to get here before we begin. So we'll start here on my left and go around. If you're an officer, I'll introduce you.
Okay, my name is Greg Heater. I'm the treasurer of the club. I've been with this club for as long as I've been in Almaty, which is about 5 years. What do I appreciate about the club? That it's a really great group of people and almost like friends now for the people that have been here for a long time. So, thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Olga, and I'm a board membership of this club. If you have any questions regarding how to become an official member, you can come and ask me.
Hello, my name is Elias. I am Sergeant of Arms, and I'm responsible for the staff within your tables. And please put your mobile phones on silent tone, mute tone. And I heard about Toastmaster Club in Astana when I want to study English and pass exam for Volshak program, and I joined it in 2011. And what I really like, because Toastmaster for me is like every week inspiration, you know, they like battery for me. I come here and I'm like happy for the next meeting. Thank you.
Hello everybody. My name is Robert and I'm a new member of this club, and I'm very happy to be a member. And heard about this club from my friend Dodet. And what I appreciate is Toastmaster gives me an opportunity to improve my speaking skills in public, and also gives me an adrenaline when I'm speaking in public here. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Emir, and I'm in Toastmasters more than 5 years, but I had a long time break. But I'm really happy to be here because it's a really nice place to get new networking and to improve your English skills and also public speaking skills. So welcome to me, newcomers.
My name is Isa. I like this Toastmasters club because Toastmasters discuss very interesting topics. My
name is Juan. After I should pass IELTS. Therefore, I should improve my skill, English skill. So.
Hi everybody, my name is Jamelia. It's my second time here, and this Toastmasters, I want to improve my English. I heard about Toastmasters from my classmate Yadikara. Thank you to her. That's all. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Yadikara Abdirahmanova. I'm with the Toastmasters Club for about 3 or 4 years, and I have a role of a secretary, an officer. And you're welcome to ask me any question if you have about our club, any kind of questions. So what I really appreciate about our club is the opportunity to develop in everything, not just in language, but also in relationships, in socializing with people. I just love my club. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Isa, and I've been in Toastmasters the second time, and I like the Toastmasters because they help me to improve my public skills and my English. So, thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is David. So I got introduced to Toastmasters by the other David. So we started off as an English club like 6 years ago, and but it's like virtually like stopped operating like 3 years ago, and then like every Friday we had English clubs, but then like 3 years ago after everyone like had like mostly accomplished their tasks, like their goals, like IELTS preparation and stuff, like entering like universities abroad and stuff. Like everyone just stopped going to English clubs, and then I found out about Toastmasters from my friend David, and then like I like that Toastmasters that's actually a better thing than the English club because it has more structure to it. Yeah, and you actually take responsibility like for like preparing speeches like for every week. Yeah, I like that. Thank you.
So you guys, everyone's just introducing themselves briefly. If you're first time, how you heard about Toastmasters. If you've been here before, one thing that you appreciate about Toastmasters.
It's first time we're here.
And so please give your name and how you heard about Toastmasters.
My name is Bota. I used to be in the English club with David. I don't know yet what I appreciate.
Okay, that's great. Next.
Big Zod.
Aisha.
Good evening everyone, my name is Aisha. You want me to say what I heard from? What do I need to say?
What's one thing you like about Toastmasters? Why you enjoy being
I
part?
like that it helps to develop leadership and public speaking skills.
Hello everybody. The reason why I'm trying to come to Toastmasters really because I'm vice president of education. I have to come.
He has to.
On the other side, I like meeting new people, to keep in touch with present friends, and it gives me a place to improve myself in all senses. Thank you.
Good evening to everyone. My name is Shadra. I first heard about Toastmasters when I was living in Astana in 2010. And after 5 years, I decided to join it here in Almaty. And the thing I like about Toastmasters is that it's a really good opportunity to develop your leadership skills and to meet other leaders. Thank you.
I'm Mustafa. Hi everyone. It's my for third time. Then I heard about Toastmasters from my close friend Bahadur. He's sitting over there. Then what I appreciate about Toastmasters is like when leaders are made. That's why we're going to. I'm trying to be like have some good speech and like public speech. That's all.
Hi everyone, my name is Thomas. This is my first time here and I heard about this place from my friends, 2 friends. That's it.
Good evening everyone, my name is Aygul. I have double Toastmasters for my teacher, Bigzor, and I want to practice English.
Okay, good evening everyone. My name is Bahadur and I'm here for the third time. And I heard about Toastmasters from my friend, now he's in Astana. And I came here because I want to improve my English, listening skills and leadership. Thank you.
Hi everybody, my name is Masad. I'm here. I'm here for listen. I'm here first time. I'm here for listen and watch what is it I'm interested about it.
Hello everyone, my name is Iljan. I heard about Toastmasters from US Consulate English Club. I like for good atmosphere.
Hi everyone, my name is Timur. I'm here for the second time. Before I was in the Kimer, but after like a long break, I didn't came here. I heard about Toastmaster Club from my friend Eljan. Once really one great thing I love in the Toastmaster Club. It is very good friendly atmosphere and highly motivated people that motivate me.
Good evening, my name is Jinbek. I hear for the first time and I heard a lot about your seminars or the group, or I don't know exactly, but I think it's some kind of a special group that's improving your speech and improving your English skills, so I think I will enjoy it.
Good evening everyone, my name is Ayum. I heard about Toastmaster Club from my friends and start to attend on May. So I love being here. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Cecile. It's my first time here. I heard about the Toastmasters from Ayum.
Just a couple of business items before I turn over to our Toastmaster for the evening. One is if you still need to pay your membership fees, see Greg and make sure that gets done to continue to be a member. The other thing that I want to highlight is if you're here for the first time, who's taking names today of first-time people? I don't have. So if you're here for the first time, we communicate by email and Facebook. Give your information to Olga after the meeting, and she'll make sure you continue to get updates. And now I'd like to turn over the rest of the meeting to Greg Beaver, our Toastmaster.
Thank you, Tom. My name is Greg Heaver, and I have the utmost pleasure to be the Toastmaster for this evening's meeting. Now, can you hear me at the back there, Begside? You can hear me all right? Yeah. Okay. Okay, you're a long way away, yes. I've done a little bit of research. Now, Tom has mentioned at the beginning that there's over 10,000 clubs in the world that practice Toastmasters. I would think that most of those are in the United States, or a great majority of them in North America. Well, what I've been able to deduce is that there's approximately 50 clubs that are meeting right now while we are meeting here. Like right at this exact time. Most of them are in India, mind you, but still, they're part of this world as well. They're doing exactly what we're doing, except we're probably doing it a little bit better than them, I suspect, but that's just because we're a great group. Now, everybody here, today was a pretty, welcome ladies, just grab a seat. Today is a pretty drab day outside, bad weather, and you guys all had a choice to make this evening, whether to come here or not. You had a choice to either stay at home with your family, or maybe you're a bit more adventurous and you had a choice to maybe go out with some friends for a coffee, a chat, to have a laugh. But instead you chose to come here. Amongst friends, I would like to say yes. To have a chat, well, I hope that you'll come up and share some stories and have something to say. To have a laugh, most definitely so. So I think, let me tell you that you have made the right choice to come in today. You will not be disappointed. Toastmasters will not let you down. It will not fail you. Toastmasters has been around for almost 100 years, and it does not get to be so old without being successful. The only thing that's standing between your success, according to Toastmasters principles, is you. Is what's between here. All you have to do is to, number one, attend, tick for everyone here, and secondly, to participate. To put your hand up, to come up here to speak when you're given the opportunity. To come out of your comfort zone. And that may be easy, that may be not so easy, but you can do it. Our club here tries to provide an environment, an conducive environment that makes everyone feel a little bit more comfortable than what they normally would. That's why I come to Toastmasters, to make myself better. I think it's a painfully slow process at times. I've been here a long time. And I know my fellow leadership team also have the same philosophy. if you're first time here, or maybe you've been a few times and you're not sure, please give it some serious thought, because we'd love to have you join our Toastmasters family. Okay, today's meeting is going to be great. We have had one cancellation, but we've had two speakers our two speakers that are left are top shelf, let me say. We have one, I would like to call one young gun, one of our up-and-coming young guns. And we have one from, maybe, to say politely, the old guard. And then after that, we have our table topic session with the impromptus. That's when things will really get exciting, for those of you who don't know.
He's middle-aged. He's in between.
Maybe, yeah, well. Okay, so let's get straight into this. Our first speaker tonight will be giving her project number 5. Your Body Speaks is the project title. Now, some of you may have seen. If you're interested in some of what we do here, we have a YouTube channel and we have videos on YouTube, and courtesy of a lot of them are courtesy of my filming here, and also there's a few other people here at the car included that adds films to that. So if you want to have a look at some of our videos, you can choose to look at my videos, which resemble the 1960s black and white monotone, just pretty drab and boring, or you can choose this next speaker. She's also a budding videographer, cinemanologist, with all the fancy side effects and special effects, and the everything you want to see. That's what she does. And let me tell you, there's some great videos on wine. That's one of her main passions. That's one of them, apart from public speaking. So, talking today on the topic, are you ready to work? Ayin Nusetova.
That he or she is a lazy person? Raise up your hands. Okay, I raise both of my hands because I'm just like anyone else who would like to get everything without doing anything. But in fact, only highly motivated people are ready to do some work with a great pleasure, right? And if you think that you're lazy, in fact you are not, because you are either sick or uninspired. And sometimes we need to push ourselves, force ourselves to do some work, right? And is it possible to stay always motivated and desire to work? I guess it's not, right? So today I want to share 3 main sources from where I get the information, motivation, and inspiration to feel myself happy and do some work. The very first is internet. Very easy to get the information, to get the knowledge, and implement. For example, cleaning at the house. Who can say that I enjoy vacuuming the carpets, washing the floors, polishing the dust, really? Yeah, and I found those people who really love doing that. There is a program which is called Obsessive Compulsive Cleaners. After watching that program, my attitude towards cleaning has completely changed. Why? Because I'm really inspired by those people. Because I see that they do something really good. They do cleaning at the professional level, and I'm not joking. I highly recommend you to watch at least 1 episode so that you will find some tips and tricks, see the difference between your house and theirs. And yeah, it's really good. Or, for example, when I don't want to cook, I watch the program which is called MasterChef. And especially the version with the kids, which call it MasterChef Junior. And love, passion, creativity of those people is just incredible. How do they represent their food on a plate is just amazing. After that, I started to find new ways of serving, new recipes, trying something new, and it really helps, And whatsoever, you also can find some subject which interests you, search it, try to find the new activities. For example, as I told before, like learning English and etc. Next, about people. I always remind myself that I should compete with myself and be good as a human being, because there are always people who are taller than me, smarter than me, richer than me, but when I see really talented people and really hardworking people, I ask myself, like, what am I doing? And I set up some goals like attending Toastmasters Club, learning to speak in front of people, improving my speaking skills, to be fluent in English, learn new language, and etc. List goes on. And yeah, actually people are the really good source of being state of awake all the time. And that's why from where I got the most of my inspiration. The last one is the books. Reading gives me spiritual rise, especially sometimes I feel like myself like so low. And I'm very new in my sphere of work and my profession, and if I understand that I don't know a lot of things, so I should be more professional to be more successful and try to read more books about books which are related to my job. Like time, management, banking, and etc. So education is truly enlightenment. So actually there is no secrets like internet, people, books, whatsoever. Find your own sources to feel yourself happy and motivated. And set up your goals, strive forward, and keep moving on. That's it.
Thank you, Aim. Who's not for better ways to cook and to clean and just to work in general? I'm all for that. So that's a great inspiring speech. Thank you, Aim. Now, like I said at the beginning, we're all learning here, and I've done this job countless times before up here, and I completely forgot a part of the introductions, and that was that we need to introduce my helpers for this evening. So we're going to do it right now. If our grammarian could please introduce herself and her role. Thank you, Yadika.
I'm a grammarian tonight, and I have two responsibilities. First is to introduce the word of the day, which is you can see on the board or on your sheet. Nevertheless, this word is a connector or a linker. It means not paying attention to something, or it doesn't matter which. Yeah, for example, she was an impromptu speaker, nevertheless she enjoyed her speech. And second, my role is to follow all your mistakes in the language and comment on them by the end of the evening. Thank you.
Our accountant, can Maria please explain her role?
Yeah, I'm an accountant today, and I'll be counting a few words like and so on. So try not to pronounce them. At the end of the meeting, I'll give a short report.
And our timer for today, please, Elmira, can you please explain your role?
Hello. So we are here also to improve our organizational skills, and that's why time is very important. So today I will be a timer for you. So please pay attention to me when you're giving a speech. So this green card means that you achieved the minimum of your speech. So this is yellow card, which means this is the between the minimum and maximum. And please pay attention when I just show you this card. So it means that you should just make your speech shorter and just end your speech. So at the end of our meeting, I will give a short report, and you will just pay attention to your time. So thank you.
Okay, we'll go back to the good stuff now. Our speaker number 2 today will be giving his project number 7, which is titled Research Your Topic. Now, has everyone, or has anyone here heard of the gentleman called Joshua C. Smedley? No? He's the founder of Toastmasters International back 100 years ago. Well, he won't be speaking today, but our next speaker is the legendary founder of Almaty Toastmasters. Similar capacity. His passion for Toastmasters is to meet interesting people who have a desire to change the world. So that will be us. In 5 to 10 years, he sees himself as being some type of a guru of some sort, spending lots of time with family and friends. Speaking to the topic, life after death, our own Almaty Club guru, Tom Bartowski.
I have a confession to make. I am obsessive compulsive. Not in cleaning my house. My wife would love if I was a little obsessive compulsive about that. Not in being on time. But I'm obsessive compulsive from a long time ago. Even when I was a student, I had difficulty relaxing. My friends would sit back and they'd watch a movie and just laugh and enjoy it. Not me. When I'd watch a movie, I'd think, that's 2 hours of my life. I have to redeem that. I've got to pull some life lesson from this movie. So this last weekend, our Almaty Toastmasters Club organized a social. We went to see the movie Everest at the Asentai Mall. And I was a little disappointed when I first show up. Everyone's like, you know it's in Russian, right? You know it's in Russian, right? I'm like, da, я понимаю русский чуть-чуть. But they're all like, even though in Toastmasters we're all speaking English, I do understand a little bit of Russian. Ilyas, Olga, others. It's okay. So I was a little offended about that. So I thought, I've really got to redeem this time, especially if I'm watching a movie in Russian. And so what I came up with when I watched this movie, how many have seen the movie already, Everest? Okay, just a few of you. So I won't give any spoilers. But there'll be one small spoiler, is that in the movie, some people die. Okay? And they die a slow death. And I was just thinking afterwards, talking with some other people who attended, like, what goes through your mind before you die? And then it's like, well, what happens after you die? Is that it? Is that all there is? And because one of the conversations that took place before someone died is like thinking, will he ever see his loved ones again on the other side of death? And so being obsessive compulsive again, I'm a researcher, I'm an engineer by training. And so sometimes I like to look at things from a scientific point of view. But I realize there's two main ways of verifying things or knowing things. One is the scientific approach, the other is the historical approach of knowing things. Because science is about having hypotheses, being able to repeat things, seeing the same results again. When it's events that have happened, historical events, you can't repeat them until scientists invent a time machine. Which, I know some of you probably believe they are time machines. I'm not yet convinced they exist. So we have to leave it with these two approaches. So we approach this question of life after death. And in Everest, people encounter that. Well, to be honest, each one of you is going to encounter death. You know, there's only two things in life you cannot avoid: taxes and death. If you try to avoid taxes, you'll spend time in prison and then you'll die. But if you pay your taxes, you're still going to die. And so it's thinking at it from the scientific approach. How could you prove there's life after death? You know, so I hop online, the internet, that's the way to go, right? Well, it's not always right. As I go through my speech, you'll see why. But there's a guy, a doctor from Haverhill, Massachusetts. I used to live in Boston, not far away. In fact, my wife has relatives from Haverhill, Massachusetts, from a long time ago. And in 1901, he weighed people that had tuberculosis, who were going to die. And so he put them on some type of scale, seeing that when they died, could we measure how much the soul weighed? And so he did this with 6 or 7 different people. And he said they weighed about 21 grams, the soul did. He somehow measured, put them on a table before they died, and said, this is proof that we have a soul, because when we die, we weigh less. Now obviously later, people are like, well, maybe it was breath, giving out, or other things. And so they said he wasn't too accurate. Only 6 or 7 people in a sample, it's not enough. So I came across another article saying 2 German doctors were written up in the Horizon German scientific magazine, used a better scale that measured much more accurately. They weighed many more people before they died. And they came up with, though, that the soul, rather than 21 grams, only weighed 1/3000th of an ounce, which is like less than a gram. So there's a difference. But they said, people were citing this article, I'm looking, these people are citing it, these people are citing it, and I'm like, yes, here's my proof of that there's like a soul, and if there's a soul, there probably is some type of life after death. Well then, as you read the comments under the things, I'm reading more of the comments, and some people are like, I cannot find any German scientific magazine named Horizon, even though it's quoted in other things. And as we get looking, they go, these doctors don't even exist. So I don't know if you've ever heard what's called an urban legend. An urban legend is stories that get started and get repeated and people quote them, but it turns out even not to be true. But people, because they've been cited so often, people hear about them, they think they're true. Well, so I'm a little bit, can you weigh the soil? I don't know. So let's take the historical approach to this, and that's what we call NDEs, near-death experiences. These are personal accounts that many people have had of a near-death experience, where they have an out-of-body experience. And for most of them around the world, there's been many documented cases. Raymond Moody is one that popularized this NDE, near-death experience. And he researched him, and people after him have researched around the world. It doesn't matter what culture you're in, what religion, if you're an atheist, if you have a strong faith, if you're sick, if you're psychotic or otherwise, there's no common denominator, but people all have very similar experiences. There's a light, there's a peace, there's a calmness, there's moving towards things. And obviously, if near-death experience they were clinically dead. Their heart had stopped. There was supposedly no brain activity in their brain. And that's why they came back. And so, as I did more research on this, looking about it, thinking, YouTube, movies. Well, there's 2 movies and books that have come out about this. One is called Heaven is for Real. It's about a young boy, he was 3 or 4, had appendicitis and he almost died. And he had a near-death experience, and afterwards, as his father recorded this, saying that he told things that he couldn't have known outside the operating room, seeing his parents there, seeing other relatives that had died prior, and describing what they were like. He knew that he had a sister from a miscarriage even, and his parents had never told him about this. And so, believe it or not, after I read this book a few years ago, a businessman who's trying to do popcorn here in Kazakhstan, I met him and did a little consulting with him, and I said, are you from Nebraska? He's from the same town as where this happened. And I'm like, this is too good to be true. Do you know the story? Is it true? Did it really happen? And he was a little bit like, well, I've heard the story, but I'm a little bit skeptical if it really happened. And then after this, they actually made a movie of it. And for me personally, I met a gentleman here in Almaty, his name's Askar, who's personally told me he had a near-death experience. He was clinically dead on the table. He was above, he could see the operating room, he could see other rooms, and then he came back and was resuscitated. I have no reason to disbelieve him or not believe him. The other thing they said is that when people go, oftentimes they'll see a person. And if you're a person of faith, like Christians will see Jesus, Hindus will see the god of death or the king of death, each one different ones. And so how your experience depends a little bit on faith, what you experience and how you see. I'm personally a person of faith. And that's when I look at the historical approach, I'm like, where's an example of life after death that many of us have heard about or believe? And for me, it's studying the scriptures and understanding them, that Jesus died and he rose again from the dead. There's eyewitness accounts of over 500 people that saw him. He came and reported things, he ate things, and I'm like, wow, can I prove this scientifically? No, but historically, are the witnesses credible? In my mind, they are. In other people's minds, they're not. But anyway, it made me think again about watching movies and being back at Everest, and I thought, from a scene in that movie, if I'm ever with someone and they're close to the point of death, and it's like, what would I tell them? And I think I would follow the way it happened in the movie and say, I think you're going to see your loved ones after you're gone. There is something more beyond this life. And I think inside each one of us, we inherently know that.
Very interesting story, Tom. Thank you for sharing that. I think it's very close to all of us in some ways. And I can't believe you watched Everest in Russian. Now you're just showing off, aren't you? Huh? Jeez. Okay, now we're going to, actually we've only got 2 speakers, but we'll carry on our tradition of voting for the best speaker. So if we can just hand these down, and if everybody has a pen or they can borrow a pen, please just write down who, from Tom or from AM, which speech was the best for you, which connected with you best, and then we'll award the best speaker at the end of the meeting. While you're doing that, we'll just have a short interlude for 30 seconds. Maybe our evaluators can just put down their last thoughts for the two speeches that they're going to evaluate. Okay, let's get straight into the evaluation session. Our first evaluator tonight, who will be evaluating the speech of A.M. Nursetova, is Olga Kim.
First of all, I would like to thank you again for presenting a great speech tonight. So, the project number 5, purpose of your project was body language, use body language, and body language is quite important part of presentation of speech. It can speaker can relieve himself during the presentation or take away any nervousness. So tonight you did great job. Topic selection was great, and you had clear body introduction, body and conclusion. Preparation from my point of view was great. As usual, you had a confident and loud voice. The manner of presentation was also confident, so I didn't notice any nervousness in your behavior in front of audience. Great job. The posture, the way how you stand in front of audience was straight and no shyness, no any nervousness again. Eye contact with audience also was great. You, as I saw, you always was watching the audience. You started your speech with a question, and it's a great move. So some connection between you and audience appeared in that moment. So great job. What I want to recommend to you is maybe your gestures can be more, open. I saw that you involved several gestures, but maybe they can be wider. So don't be shy. Try to use your hands. Maybe you can, do some gestures like that. Because your speech you can involve in your speech wider gestures than you did. So yeah. So what I did like in your speech, confident voice once again, great eye contact and positive smile.
Thank you all. Okay, one thing I'll just say before I ask the next evaluator to come to the podium is that evaluation is one of the key parts of the meeting. I mean, we think about coming here to give great speeches like we've heard tonight, it be either in the prepared speech or later on in the impromptu section, but the evaluations, the speeches of the evaluation are just as important for the development of our club. I mean, we can all learn just from speaking and just getting that experience ourselves, but if we hear the constructive criticism from partial observers, then that only helps to increase and speed up our learning. So this is a very important part of the meeting. Okay, our evaluator for our second speech tonight, the Tom's speech, is Ilyas Batirov. Please welcome him.
Hello again. Actually, the speech was really great. I like it, and the theme was appropriate for everyone. I think everyone of us thought about the death and life after death, except maybe atheists and some other people. but at all the purpose of the speech, the research of the topic, it was great because you mentioned like books, YouTube, movies, and magazines, forums, and even one guy who already experienced the death, and it was great. And you shared your own opinion. It's also like supported your material, and it was great. And body language was good. Vocal variety when you told like the conclusion, it was like everybody of us like think about and so on. I like it. And when you just tell like and movies, it's like some expressions. I really like it. And what else? It's about all things what was good. And I really like the structure, that's some introduction. It's very good that you mentioned previous speaker, obsessive compulsive, yes. It was great. Then you mentioned the movie Everest, and it also attracted the attention of the other people. And then you start your theme about death, life after death. And I really, everything was good and great, and sometimes you did very good bridges between the supportive material, like the first one, second one, and after this I go to them. And as we know, we should find some guy. Yes, you met someone who was in Philadelphia or something like Arizona. What did it? Nebraska. Nebraska, yes. And I really like it. And what I want to mention, just a few points. You mentioned Horizon, the magazine, and 2 German doctors and 21 gram. It's really, really good at all. And what I really want to recommend you to we should, as you know, we should recommend something that you become better. You stay there and whole speech you just do this and body language, eye contact, it was great. But you didn't use your space, it's stage. I think if you do something tell to people from one point of view and maybe another supportive material here, it'd be a little bit better. It's just my opinion. If I were you, I would do this, At all, I really like it, and I hope next speech will be better and better.
Thank you, Ilyas. It's always a difficult job to have to evaluate Tom, because we learn so much from Tom being our leader and our president. Have to evaluate him and see. It's a hard job, so good job. Okay, now we're going to move into the second part of our meeting, which is I think it's the fun and exciting part, and that is our table topic section. I'd like to introduce Begzod Hakimov, who will be leading this session. Begzod, please. Good evening one more time, dear fellow Toastmasters. So let's start. So I'd like to start immediately with a simple, easy question, and I would like to invite this gentleman with a nice tie. What's your name?
Really? Jenbek.
Jenbek?
Yes.
Jenbek. Okay, you can also beautiful ones. You'll be the next one. Okay. So the question is, so today I would like to talk about difficulties, inspiration, and all this stuff. How people overcome, how some of them overcame. And the first question is, who inspires you in your life? Please, if you come to the stage and...
Please mention about time. At least 1 minute.
Yes, you have 2 minutes to speak.
About what?
About this question.
2 questions? 2 minutes?
Yes.
Yeah, around
2 minutes. So
well,
who inspires you?
It was my friend and colleague Timur. He's sitting, he's sitting in front of me now. Before he was in the right hand. Okay. So what I heard about your organization, that's sorry, what is your name?
Ilyas.
Yes. He said that this non-profit organization, which have some branches around the world, and it's helping to improve the English skills, improve the speaking skills, speech. Well, as I understand, it's giving some, I don't know, the trainings to communicate with the persons, to speak in auditory, something like this. It's enough, I think.
Okay. So now we'll start. Today I would like to talk about Jeff Pierce. Have you heard about this person?
No.
Raise your hand, no? Actually, I didn't know about this person. I recently came across with this person while studying English file new edition intermediate level. So he was born in the slums of Liverpool in 1953 in a very poor family. At school, all the teachers thought he was stupid because he couldn't learn to read and write. He had dyslexia, and his actual and many teachers and people didn't know that he had this problem because at that time it was not well, known. His actual name is not Jeff. His actual name is James. The reason why he was called and he's still called Jeff because he couldn't pronounce his name James properly. That's why her mother decided to change his name. So the first question is, does everybody know what is dyslexia? It is a problem when people cannot to learn how to write and read. Okay, so this is a problem called dyslexia. So the first question goes to Tom. Is having dyslexia is a gift or a problem for the person?
I think whenever you look at situations like this, if you're in a business situation, you're in a crisis, you have to say, not woe is me, but how can I find opportunities in this? And again, I'll turn back to my obsessive compulsive thing. I saw a movie about a young boy had something very similar to dyslexia. And it talks about how they had to overcome it. His mom supported him and others in supporting it. And said, this is your gift because of having this difficulty, this challenges, you're going to have to grow more. You're going to have to learn more. You're going to have to develop more, take steps that other people will not. So though it's a challenge that you might have, if you view dyslexia as something to overcome, being more concentration, maybe being fun of, it'll give you more empathy, more compassion if other people have challenges. It also forces you at a young age to have to work harder than other people to learn the same things, like doing simple math, because numbers get reversed or letters get mixed up. It does make it really difficult to learn to read. But people that overcome these at a young age, when things don't come easy to them, you find that they're more successful later in life because they've learned to push through these. They've learned to ask for help when they need it. They've learned that life isn't always easy and you have to work and you need supportive people. So I would say it's definitely a problem, but it's something that's a problem or a challenge they face that can help them grow and become stronger and better.
Any other ideas supporting? Yes? Do you want to say something? Okay, please help me welcome. Yes, sir.
In our community and society, dyslexia is not at all a problem. That's why we have never probably heard about it. So dyslexia is the actually inability of a child to properly write. For example, he writes the word problem like problem. To add up some letters or to reverse some letters in writing. Why it happens? Because scientists say a dyslexic person sees things not on two-dimensional, as a two-dimensional thing. He sees it as, three-dimensional. For example, if we write the letter R, so he will see it in all different shapes, upside down and reversed. That's why. And in our country, it is first, second, third grade children. When they keep writing this kind of things, teachers would just say, oh no, it's not right, there is a mistake, and correct it. And by the fourth grade, fifth grade, usually it diminishes, it just disappears. That's why we never paid attention to it. But dyslexia has some levels, and if a person has like a deeper level of this kind of disease, or let's say a little abnormality, Then, when a person becomes adult, it's still difficult for him to write things and to do some other very general, obvious activities. For example, to tie your ties and to make some calculations. And this kind of people can be slower at doing tests. And abroad, they are giving a privilege to have longer time during the exams and etc. So, I mean, this question is really kind of, new to our society. I suppose that is not an advantage and that is not a disadvantage. For us, it's just normal. Thank you.
I just want to give some interesting information when I started digging deep. So, some of the brilliant minds of our time who have been known to have dyslexia are Albert Einstein, Alexander Graham Bell, Thomas Edison, Winston Churchill, Benjamin Franklin, Mozart, and John Lennon. They all had this problem. Can you imagine? It was a big surprise for me. And there is a definition for this let's say disease, if we call it. Dyslexia is a unique mindset that is often gifted and productive, but learns differently than other minds. Those people have different mind, different way of learning style and acquisition of information. But in general, according to the internet, they are gifted. So let's continue. From the moment, I'm talking about Jeff Pierce, don't forget about his gentleman. From the moment he started walking, he started helping his mother. And they had very poor condition, and they, together with her mother, started selling second-hand clothes. They used to go to every house, ask if you have any necessary used clothes, second-hand, we call it, very popular. And they used to collect all these clothes, go to the market, and sell it. By doing this, he made his first million at the age of 30. So it was like going and asking and selling. He had very good communication skills, but he was very poor at school. That's why he left school at the age of 14. Then he started to enter university. He managed to enter university, but in the first year he failed and left the university and came back to business again with his mother. And the question is, as I told you, he became a millionaire. What do you think what the key to success? I will give 3 options as an example. If you have the 4th option, you are welcome. So he was lucky, he was hardworking, and he had a special talent. So what was the reason that he became such a successful retail business person without having any education and having some sort of illnesses? I would like to invite second one, yes, please. Your name is Timur, yes? Yeah. Please, Timur.
Let me introduce myself. My name is Timur, and I think in this kind of situation, he was, first one is lucky, second one is hardworking, and third one was special talent like this. In my opinion, it was some kind of like how to say, like some kind of challenging person. And for me, yeah, life is a kind of experience, and everyone, every living like people in the world came here to get this experience. He was his life was starting from the bad, but like in spite of like these problems that he accept those challenges and make his life better. And I think that first one that should be as an option. I think it can be like written as a life is hard, but try to do it like this.
Okay, thank you. Don't forget to shake your hands once you come and once you leave. Any other volunteers? No? So we'll move on. Nowadays he's a big businessman who taught himself to read and write in order to publish his life story, and is now writing high in the bestsellers chart. The book which he wrote They call it A Pocket Full of Hopes and Dreams. It is about his real life, how he overcame, what kind of problem did he have, and so on. It's an autobiographical book. And now it's currently number 4 in Sunday Times bestseller list. And it's also Jeff Pierce is set to become a national spokesman for adult literacy. My question goes, okay, for you. So, what do you think? What triggers people to write autobiographical books? Why people write autobiographical books?
Why people trigger to write?
Why do people write autobiographical books? Not everybody does it, but those people who write.
But usually, famous people written the autobiography. I mean, the other people who are inspired by the famous and by great and inspirational people. They are inspired by these people and they write autobiography for this, for these people. And what make them to write these autobiographies is just because they are inspired of them, and one of the autobiography is Benjamin Franklin's autobiography that inspires me to be a better person, to develop myself, and to go to this club also. And what inspires me in this book is that there are 12 principles that Benjamin followed during his lifetime period, and the principles were like to be patient, to be kind to other person, even if that person is your enemy. Like there was a situation when he presented a book for the person who did something bad for him. And this kind of principles, they make life easier and help to improve yourself and to be a good human being.
Okay, Any other volunteers? What do you think? Why people? What inspires people to write autobiographical books? It's not like I decide tomorrow and I write a book. You know, I think it doesn't work like this. So think about. Maybe you want to say something.
Yeah.
About it. Okay, yes, please.
I just want to say something. Actually, who of you read at least one autobiographical book? Right hand. Like more than almost half. And you read it and you learn from this book something new, some principles, as she said, yes, something lessons. And I think if everyone in our life have a lessons, but why someone write the book, someone not? I think that because of that some achievements. Because if I spend all my life like in the office from 9 to 6 and just doing the all stuff at home without any problems, without any achievements, what should about I write? What do you think? But then I start to think that every one of us have some like, you know, autobiography. This is a like diary and some blogs. And now there's very popular to write down something. Maybe like Vines on Instagram and you are talking about your life. And I think, first of all, if I will write the autobiography, it will about some lesson from my life. Because I have some travels, maybe not achievements, but even if I mention my travels, it will be enough lessons. And I think the main purpose of the autobiography is just teach some like future generation about some things, about some wisdom.
You want to say something? Yes, please.
Generally, an autobiography, I think you'd agree with, is written by famous people, I think. I mean, you don't see any autobiographies of usual people just like us, because who would buy them to start with? And those who don't want to write it themselves will get someone else to write it for them, but they'll be using the facts from you, and that's called a biography. why do these people have the need to write these books? I think there's a number of reasons. The first is a lot of these people, these famous people, they're quite conceited, they think themselves they're so great probably that they just want to, get their story out there and tell everyone how they were born like with nothing and how they rose to such great heights because they're such a wonderful person and how hard they worked, and just tell everyone, probably what everyone already knew anyway, that how great they are. And the second reason perhaps would be simply it usually comes at the end of people's careers or professions, famous actors or presidents when they've finished their presidency, or sportsmen once they've retired. Probably they're running short of money and they want to, they need some more money coming in, so it's a good money spinner, I guess. It could be, I don't know. But I think generally deep down, the main reason I think is just because most people in the world are, good people, and they probably think, I started with nothing and I'm just a usual person and I was lucky to get to where I was, had a really fortunate life, and I just want to share with everybody else that my story and basically tell everyone else that I was just like you when I started, and my dream come true and your dream can come true as well. Just I hope I inspire you with my story. I think that's the main reason that people write books.
Just a little clarification about the inspiration why he wrote the book. During the 54 years he has been keeping the problems that he has dyslexia from his children, and he tried to keep it in a secret, and whenever he had to read some sort of stories for his children, he couldn't read, but children didn't know about it, and he started looking at the picture and trying to imagine the story. And his daughter used to tell his father, "Dad, are you going crazy? It's not about it." And at the time he used to leave the room and cry, He was ashamed about the fact that he couldn't read and write. And he described this situation in his book, and wanted to say that you shouldn't keep secret such kind of his life, and you have to reveal it. And another thing, during his business career, he starts from zero, and in the middle of his career, he lost everything because of 1990s. It was a very difficult recession time, and again he managed to become millionaire. He did it twice. So he described this situation and his family life. So it's written in this book. I highly recommend you to read this book. It's $17 online. I couldn't find it in Almaty, so we'll continue. As I told you, nowadays he's retired and he's really popular, and he's invited to different radio programs, TV programs, and once he was invited to BBC Radio 2 with Steve Wright, and he was asked several questions about career and many other things about his point of views, and he shared one story. He says that I started from zero, and when I became a bit successful, I wanted to have my own shop to sell my own brand clothes. And I went to bank to consult with my bank manager, with my accountant, whether it's possible for me to get money credit from the bank and to buy this shop and start my own business, let's say soon. And he went to the bank, consulted, and the bank manager said, "Jeff, you're a good retail person on local level, but you cannot compete with big guys in retail business. I don't recommend you to go there. It's better to keep going on that level." Then he went to accountant, and he or she, I don't know, the female or male, and that person said the same thing. You are a good seller on local level, but you cannot compete. You cannot be a big player because the retail business is very competitive and very hard. And he was upset and came home. His wife was very helpful in all regards. Since he couldn't read and write, his wife used to check all documents, contracts, fill up all applications. She was real assistant in all respect. And she said, "Don't get upset, everything will be okay." And she supported him, and he managed to get the money from another source and opened his business. And in 4 years, he became again millionaire, the second step of his career. And what he says that, "You see what happened, they didn't believe me, they didn't help me, but now I managed to do it myself. And what happened? The same person is my bank manager, and the same accountant is still my accountant." And he said, "After all this stuff, all education meant nothing for me. So how would you explain, or how would you give your idea about this? So educated people, he always admired those people who have education, but here they didn't believe, they didn't support him, but he managed to do it himself, and now they're working for him. So I have my point of view. I would like to listen your point of view. What did he want to say by saying all education means nothing for me? Yes, please, Elmira.
So I guess he was telling about that education is, of course, it's very necessary, important thing, but it's not the main thing for all. I mean, for example, I have a son, and now he is going to kindergarten, but when he will go to school, as for me and as far as I'm a parent, for me it's nothing. Either he gets 5 or 4 or even 2. I mean, maybe you have friends from your school who were studying very, very bad. I mean, they got 2 to 2, or I mean, they were really bad in education. But maybe some time passed and you see him going out of the good car, just with a good suit and something like that. He is a businessman, and you say, "Oh man, are you that guy who was sitting in just there and was getting bad marks? And what's going on? How you achieve it?" He said, "You know, I don't care. It just because I mean, what I'm trying to say you. Of course, education is good, but the main is just your, like say." Character. Your character. Yeah, your character. Yeah. When you just don't care about something, you're just doing. You're hardworking. You're inspired. You just believe in yourself, and you just go there, and you're risky. So this is this is the main thing for me. As for me, I mean. So thank you.
There is one more person, living person, who made a fortune and who became very popular. I would like to talk about it briefly and to have parallel and ask question. So there is a company called Education First, EF. I think you may have heard about this company. It has a lot of schools around the world. It was the founder of this school is Bertil Halt. He's from Sweden, and he had the same problem like Jeff. And this year, they celebrated 50 years of anniversary because the school was established in 1965 in Sweden. Now it has more than 10,000 branches around the world. It's a really huge company in the sphere of education. And he had an interview due to the reason that there is anniversary. And the question was, what was the original ambition behind starting the EF? He started EF at the age of 23, by the way. And his answer was, I didn't really have my choice. I was not good at school, and I didn't think that the company would hire me. The only option which I had to start my own company. So this was the reason at the age of 23. Now we have Bertil Halt, he's also a millionaire, very popular person, and we have Jeff Pierce, who is also a living person, and he had the same problems. What do you think? Would you say that they are unlucky that they have this problem, or they are lucky that they have this problem? Any volunteers? And I would like to invite you. I like your tie as well, please. What's your name?
Musa.
Musa, yes.
Can you repeat?
Yes, of course, I will repeat. So I introduced 2 people, Jeff Pierce, who is a retail millionaire, and Bertil Halt, who is a millionaire in sphere of education. They both had dyslexia, and they both started their business due to dyslexia. And what do you think? Would you say that they are unlucky that they have this problem, or they are lucky that they have this problem?
Okay. In my opinion, it is their fate. They overcome this challenge and they became a millionaire. And say that I think they're lucky and they got a very big risk. They're a risky person because, as I know, a lot of millionaires, billionaires, they did a lot of risk, and after that they became millionaire. As you said that three types, yeah, lucky, hardworking, talent. And I think this kind of person, they have all three types because becoming millionaire is very hard, and people should be lucky, very talented in his profession, in their profession, and too hardworking.
My last question. In 1992, Pierce was awarded a Businessman of the Year prize for the best clothes store in Liverpool. It was at this moment that he told his friends and colleagues the truth and decided to write a book about his experience. The truth is that he has dyslexia. As I told, he has been keeping the secret from everybody. And when he got the prize, he decided to tell the real story. So my question is, the last question, what do you think you can learn from Jeff's life story? Because everybody has different point of view about the gentleman. So what can you learn from his life story? And I would like to invite somebody, definitely somebody. Yes, you please. Thank you, Ida, for helping. And your names? Sid. Please, stage is yours.
Okay, from my point of view, when people have some problems or disease, they have two ways. First way may be to live with this problem, to cry, to tell about this problem to everyone, like I have this disease, I cannot do this or I cannot do that. And the second way that these two men choose is that to work hard and achieve maybe, and even if they have this problem, they can live this life. Like for example, the man who, I forgot his name, who haven't got even legs and arms, but also he can achieve the success. And these two men have arms, legs, and it's this dysplasia was not so big problem.
Any other volunteers? No, yes, maybe next time. It is important to know. Last one. Would you like to say something?
Yes, yes.
Yes, yes, please.
Why not? What I really learned from this story is about that the man had a problem and he really thought that it's really big and huge problem for him. And of course, it's very hard to don't know how to read, even if you don't have arms and legs. And anyway, I think at least like when you will be like very old, I think it's what you can do is just read, you know, or like write some biography. That's all. But if you can only, like, I don't know. For me, it was really like big lesson that maybe there's a lot of information, blogs and books and so on. They study in university, in school. Maybe it's not so necessary really. If like one guy just do it without any information, he just won't look at the picture and say, what about this, you know, some story. Maybe I think the lesson is maybe what we imagine about like study and education, it's not true. Maybe it's all just experience. For example, like Toastmaster, you can read like 100 books on how to be like best speaker or like how to communicate. But if you don't communicate and don't come here on the stage and don't present yourself and speak about something, this is just waste of time. And I think best lesson from this story. It's about that he starts his own business and just doing. Nevertheless, he didn't achieve really quick results. And I think this is a lesson for every one of us. Just come here, take some experience, even if you're scared, you don't know, just do it. Do it!
Thank you very much. I highly recommend you to read this book. I started reading, a very nice book. And that's it for today. Okay, that's the finish of our table topics. Thank you for all the guys who and girls who got up and took the courage to speak. We're going to have a quick voting session again, so I'll just pass these down. You can just grab one and write who you thought was the best speaker. Perhaps to familiarise everyone, if we can just put your hand up when we go through. The first speaker was Jenny Beck. Who's Jenny Beck? Put your hand up, please. Yep, that's Jenny Beck. Second speaker was Tom in the corner here. Yadika. Timor, number 4. Number 5 is Mariat. Is Mariat. 6 is Elias. And also 11 Elias. 7, that would be me. 8, Elmira. In the red. Musa, number 9. For the tie. Asel, number 10. Where's Asel? Asel. And 11 Elias. Okay, that's it. 11 speakers. So you just write down that much in there. Okay, we're going to now go into the reporting section of the meeting. I'd like to invite our art counter. Are you not ready? Okay. I'd like to invite then our Yatika. Are you ready, Yatika?
Yes, I am.
Okay. If our Gamera can please come up to the podium. Nevertheless, we're on time. And like you said, I don't think anyone's used it today.
Nevertheless, the word of the day was extremely easy. Hardly anyone used it, so it's been used 3 times by Elias, Greg, and me. Well, by the end of the meeting, yeah, everyone remembered it suddenly. Well, Greg, the only thing which I noticed.
Come on.
Yes, I told you about it half a year ago, probably. You tend to say which when you refer to people, whereas it should be who, as you know.
It's a straight.
Well, it's a mistake. Well, Timer said shortly report instead of short. The first speaker, that's really interesting. I never paid attention before. You do say called and searched, which of course very common for all of us, instead of saying called and searched, right? So other things, how do they represent, which was not a question, so it's just how they represent. I suppose it's not at professional level, but on professional level. Most my inspiration without, you should use off there, learning a new language, and of course missing article is a really common mistake, not only by the first speaker. Somebody else did some things. No comments on Tom, of course. I just try to remember some phrases you used. Oля, you used can and maybe too much. Especially when you're referring and giving advice, it's better to say should probably, yeah, because this is an advice in fact. Elias, I've just learned to listen to you without paying attention to your mistakes.
Great.
It's really difficult for me. But a couple of things. So just try to revise the tenses. I like instead of I liked it. And several times you said everybody or every one of us. I suppose it's enough to say just everybody or everyone. Also instead of also. Horizon instead of horizon. Just a second. And if I will. This is never used in English.
Yeah.
If I am, you know that. I suppose you know that.
I know.
Big Zot is absent. Okay. I had so many things to tell you. Okay, I'll tell you by call. Женибек, you overused present continuous, whereas you should use present simple. For example, your organization is helping, but in general it just helps, right? Persons, so in English it's people. To speak in auditoria, it's should be in front of an auditorium. Tom, no comments. Yadkar, no comments. Timur, again, every person, every people, but it's opposite every person. Accept challenges and make his life better. It should be in the past, referring past. And it's a real common mistake when you mispronounce the ending consonant, like you said hard, whereas you wanted to say hard. So in English it's really important to pronounce clearly the last voiced consonant, it's called. Mirrored autobiography instead of autobiography. What makes them instead of what makes them. Develop instead of develop. Go to this club, you are here, it should be come to this club, right? And other things I probably missed. Elmira, also just few things. He get instead of he gets. You were studying instead of you were studying or you studied. And real obvious mistake when you say you instead of say to you. Yeah, tell you but say to you. Musa. I suppose the people we were talking about still living, so if we speak about them in more general, we usually use present perfect, something like they have overcome and they have become instead of overcame and became, because they are still living, you know, we don't know what else they can achieve. And did a lot of risk instead of took risks, or a lot of risks, and talent instead of talented. And Asel, choose instead of, again, present perfect, have chosen. I don't remember what it was about. And I didn't really understand the expression having even legs and arms. So I would say having all parts of your body, or having both legs and arms. Yes, thank you. And you're welcome to ask me any other questions on grammar. Thanks.
Okay, our next report giver is Mariette, and please come up to give your eye counter report.
Yeah.
Thank you.
To this day, I didn't notice about how many times we pronounce the filler words, and today I was just astonished by myself also. So today I am 3 arms, Tom, no filler words pronounced, Greg 13, and your favorite filler word is me, Olga 18, Ilyas as mine, okay. Ilyas 26, and your favorite filler word is and, something like, you know. Big Zor 34 filler words, Shanibek 5, Yedekar 9, Timur 7. Naruat, thanks for Ilyas, I don't know how many times I pronounced them, 19 filler words. Elmira 6, Musa 17, Asel 2. And overall, the famous filler word of our club is, and, you know.
Sometimes it's hard to believe that you actually have that many filler words, and you need someone external to point that out. So if you're like me and not sure that you had that many, I mean, the video is live and it'll be on YouTube, and if you want to see yourself to see exactly what else you're doing, good or bad, check it out. We did trust you, Maria, but just. Okay, our next report giver is our timer. Can everyone please welcome Elmira?
So, today we have only 2 speakers who were out of time. So, first Tom, so your time was 8:50 out of 5 to 7 minutes. So, and also Yadikar. So your time 2:06. As
sorry.
yes.
Sorry.
Yeah. So we are all in time. So your time is 4:08. Tom, I told you. Olga 2:56. Ilyas 2:48. Женибек 56. Tom 1:30. Yadikar 2:06. Timur 1:24. Mirwert 1:40. 7. Ilyas 1:30. Greg 1:30. Green also today is really good. So me 1:55. Musa 1:30. Asil 1 minute, and Ilyas 1:40. So great job. Especially your
Okay, just in the almost finished the meeting. Another good meeting, I might add. First, I'd like to say we had the votes counted. The best speaker, I was counting them as they were coming to me, and it was like 1 for 1, 1 for Ian, 1 for Tom, 1, and it was pretty much the whole way. It was like, my God, I hope I don't have to use my veto power at the end to give the deciding vote. Anyway, it was 13 all, and then the 27th vote was for Ian, so Ian wins by 1 vote. Good job to both speakers, are 2 great speeches today, so thank you both of you. And the best table topic is number 6, Ilyas. Or number 11, I'm not sure which one it was, Ilyas. Okay, just a couple of things. We have a meeting next week, as we always do, it's every week, and we need to have roles for that meeting. We already have 2 speakers for next week, so we need 1 more speaker. We need some evaluators, and we need...
Asil will be on the next meeting.
Asil? Okay.
Yes, and I will be backup speaker.
Alright, sure. Okay, so anybody, we need to have a grammarian, a timer, an R counter, and... Okay, we need some evaluators, and evaluators have to be members, I'm afraid. So maybe you want to be an evaluator, Aim, instead?
Okay.
Because we need, it's easy to fill the other roles. Okay, so Aim, an evaluator. Who wants to be a timer? Yadika?
I can be an our counter.
Okay, our counter is Amira.
Who's going to be Toastmaster?
Toastmaster? Who wants to be Toastmaster? Maybe we can... Yes, have you from...
When you have to choose a topic.
The speech?
Yeah. When we have to choose a topic. Let's say I'd like to try myself to have
in 2 weeks you can.
Well, next week we have 3 speakers, but if you want to then become a speaker for the following week, you can nominate now if you want, but if it's your first speech, it will be an icebreaker, so it just means you have to tell us about yourself.
Okay, great.
Okay, so your name is Timor?
Yeah.
Okay, you're in the following week, okay.
And then make sure you give all the information.
Yeah, make sure you come in a second and give your contact details.
Okay.
Timer, grammarian, anyone? Okay, we can fill those at a later date. Toastmaster? Alright, we can fill that as well.
No, Toastmaster's got to be decided.
Alright, so there's only a few people here. Elias,
Yeah, I will be.
Elias, Toastmaster, good job.
You want to table topic master?
Oh, table topic master? Okay, great. Alright, just a couple of closing notes. I mean, very quickly, I really enjoyed the meeting today, guys. Thanks to you guys for coming along on such a bad day outside. Like I said, there's a lot of excuses not to be here. You know, you should all be really proud of yourself for coming, and I think we all grew today a little bit in our progress to becoming better people, so congratulations everyone, and I call this meeting to a close.